Good evening and welcome to the Metropolitan Elites, these sneering lefties of Lizard Overlord, Ivory Towers, and here we are in our Westminster bubble.
Yeah.
Obviously, because we're in, as you can tell by our accents, that's where we are.
Passively regurgitating this diatribe that has been handed down to us from...
the lizards. The left-wing lizards this time.
Yeah, left-wing lizard.
Apart from the right-wing lizards, who are also there doing the same thing for some reason.
Yeah.
And they said this.
Bunch of migrants? Is that offensive?
Bunch of migrants. Saying it on Holocaust Memorial Day is, yes, definitely, on that day. Saying it on that actual day.
I mean, you open PMQs with that, we must remember the Holocaust and all that.
Yeah.
And then to sort of finish on bunch of migrants, it's...
Forget the Holocaust, basically. Yeah.
It's a long road he's travelled in a very short period of time because he's on the ropes over the Google thing.
Yeah. Well, he's got. I imagine he's got a set of defences, hasn't he? If he's been attacked by this, I will only to say this one. Yeah. These obvious tabloidy things I can say. The media will, one bit of the media will be up in arms, the other bit of the media will be saying, yes, he should have said it more, instead of whatever.
What do you think about this argument they're putting forward about the pull factor? That they shouldn't take migrants based in Europe because that will act as a pull factor or a magnet to other people in the area to come and try and seek asylum in the UK/Europe.
Well, what are we talking about? We're talking about EU migrants, skilled EU migrants.
No, we're talking about people from the war-torn areas of Syria and Libya and that.
Oh, they're now in Europe?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Well, what they're saying is, if we take lots of refugees from Syria, all that will do is encourage more people from Syria and Libya to come to Europe to try and seek asylum in this part of the world. What we need to do is take people from the camps in Syria into here and just forget about the migrants on Europe. 2 million migrants or something like that have come through Greece.
Just leave them to die, really?
Yeah, I actually think the argument as made out is fairly... It's a long-term problem, yeah. It's something... The solution is a long-term solution. Unfortunately, we've got 1 million migrants displaced, asylum seekers in Europe, and it doesn't deal with that issue. It's sort of saying, well, Europe, you deal with that, and we'll deal with, we've got a long-term policy. It was maybe a sensible long-term policy if the whole of Europe was united on it, but it's kind of thrust on Europe. It wasn't sort of a planned thing.
And so much PR involved and so much nonsense involved, and you look back on the whole thing and it's so crass and unpleasant the way it was dealt with.
Yeah.
That obviously that famous newspaper picture after probably what the same newspaper said 2 weeks ago. It's so horrible.
There was sort of reports that they were going to suggest that they were going to shut the borders to Greece or something like that, keep the migrants there, and then as recompense they'll write off some of Greece's debt. That is really worrying. That is sort of...
Goodness me.
It's not dealing with the problem at all. It's sort of... No one seems to have a handle on this. What are we going to do? There is a problem here and we need someone to step up and actually say, okay, this is what we're going to do. Yeah,
we need to bomb Syria more. But we shouldn't take any refugees from Syria that we've been bombing. When did this happen?
Well, it's not just refugees from Syria. I mean, it's the Libya conflict, which, David Cameron started. It was like, the fallout has been even as bad as Iraq.
It was a catastrophe.
We have some kind of moral duty in this area, and we don't seem to be living up to it at the moment.
I mean, and there's obviously the question of, you can't tell who's an actual refugee and who isn't. And obviously you get the crazies who say, none of them there are no refugees anywhere. Lies.
They're all economic migrants.
They all come from Somalia because I've decided for our benefits. While simultaneously the government is trying to hide the stats showing that not many of them are actually on benefits.
I suspect Cameron may be using this as a bargaining chip in the European renegotiation.
That's the idea, isn't it? Yeah.
I should imagine he says, if you give me a break on migration, we will take 60,000 Syrian or whatever. Which plays well to the public because the public have an enormous amount of sympathy for these migrants stranded in Europe after the reports coming out, and it would take some of the pressure off Europe. And the Greece thing suggests that they're starting to think about this Schengen thing and whether there needs to be some kind of restrictions.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think we should have a break regarding migration?
Well, I don't know. We don't know. Somebody somewhere knows migration that we actually need. An unskilled migration that we need some, and obviously if there's people shouting loudly that the country is full, blah 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 blah, we're never going to find that out. We know we need a lot of skilled immigration, but we don't know the numbers, so we don't know. I don't know because I don't have the information.
I kind of think along the lines of, I kind of agree, maybe we are creaking at the seams. The pressures on the NHS are there to see, transport systems. We have a bad record on infrastructure investment. There are a lot of governments, really.
Yeah.
I kind of think that the argument against migration would have been better served if the argument was, actually, migration is an incredible boon to the economy. I mean, it's fed our growth up until now, but there should be certain tests that allow you to bring workers into the country, i.e. that you're investing enough in infrastructure to support them, that you've got to have enough housing, you've got to have enough capacity in your health system, enough capacity for transport, all that so people can get to work. And if you pass that test, then you can have the migration. But if you're not investing, then it stokes up the resentment on the people who already live there, because they look at it and think, well, we're struggling along as it is, and we're inviting more people in, it's pushing house prices up, it's...
Why can't we have more housing? Why is that? What the hell's happened to rail infrastructure? I mean, for God's sake.
So I think it would be a wise thing, a European thing to say, well, migration, you're allowed migration if you can demonstrate that your infrastructure can sustain that.
Yeah. I mean, this is actually a different discussion, isn't it, to refugees? There's two different things. There's immigrants and there's refugees, isn't there? How you distinguish, I don't know, how many would actually be lying?
There will be a percentage who are lying, and you've just got to take the rough with them. So you've got to make a guess on it and just say, well, are we going to let people suffer in the cold because of the sake of a few bad uns, and then put systems in place to try and catch the few bad uns? But no system's perfect. A few are going to get through. That's not a reason to...
I would imagine it would be very difficult if you were from Nigeria. It's a Nigerian scam. If you're from Nigeria and you're pretending you're from Syria, it would be difficult to keep that up.
I would have thought so, yeah.
I mean, you look different for a start, but I mean, even then, because you obviously there would be people you would meet who would know and cultural things and all sorts of stuff. I'm very uncomfortable with the this thing about taking their valuables.
Yeah, was that Denmark?
Yeah, I mean, there's two sides to this. I mean, it is a bit knee-jerky to just say, well, Denmark, what they're doing, they're taking the refugees and they're just nicking all their stuff, like the Nazis. A bit more nuance to that, in that they're saying, well, they've got to pay, and then if they pay, then they get the benefits and all that stuff. And then, but I think, and they're not taking personal stuff, they're not taking wedding rings and all that kind of stuff. But it's still very uncomfortable. I mean, a loan might be one way of dealing with it, like the student loans.
That was suggested in Question Time, wasn't it, last night?
Was that Question Time?
Yeah, Yasmin Ali Brown. Maybe give them a loan, like student loans that they can pay back, or temporary visa. I mean, we are going back into this solemn discussion here. There are solutions. We've got to, it's a solution that needs to be found. It needs to be found
a year
quickly. Because, I mean, we talk about extremism in this country. These people, they're the moderates. Yeah, they're the people who don't want to get involved in fighting.
They're trying to survive. That's why they're here.
Yeah, they just want to get on with life and survive. Yeah, these are the people that we need to sort of welcome in and say, okay, and then they can speak out and against the extremism. People are being radicalised here. I mean, if there's a contingent of people that who've actually seen the result of that radicalisation in Syria and say, actually, no, you're talking crap. I've lived through it. It's not good. There is nothing good about this. That's got to be the best antidote.
Yeah, and some of them you can use for that kind of thing. You can pay them to do that and go to schools and talk to them. Not all of them, obviously, but it's things like that. It takes investment, like everything.
So, I think that's enough, hasn't it? We've whittled off long enough.
We've whittled off a lot.
Yeah. What would you like us to talk about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Give us some comments.
Yeah.
And we'll
please.
And we'll try and fit it in.
Yeah, that's no anything at all.
Yeah.
I think we've generally been to Westminster. We're in the Westminster bubble.
Yeah.
And I think we need to be newsy politics more than just Jeremy Corbyn has said this every week. So anyway, next week our lizard overlords will bring us up once again, and the Metropolitan Elites will be back, and they won't be ill this time.